And a super quick look before we direct the camera down at the table. You can spot a couple titles here, so I guess I can start with those. This is a regular what I've watched video. Some of these are rewatches, so I will of course be clarifying or specifying which ones are titles that I've seen before. But this is just one of these videos where I talk about some stuff that I've recently watched. So let's start with the one that you can see here, The Office. So recently, I'm not going to talk about this too long, but I've recently rewatched The Office all the way up until the where Michael leaves. And it's been a few years since I saw this season, and it was like in 2009, I think, when I watched season 1. Then after that I kind of picked up the seasons, one by one, of course. And this one, I don't know when I watched this, maybe 4 years ago, I'm not sure. But yeah, terrific show. I really enjoyed watching this again. There's just a certain sense of what the characters bring to the show, and the chemistry of the ensemble is just incredible. And I don't know if it's really been rivaled before. I mean, it's such a big cast, and the fact that they really can, for the most part, they can include all of the characters in a way that makes sense, and in a way where the characters can express their idiosyncrasies in a really great way. I mean, they've just pulled that off really well. Anyway, I mean, one could talk for hours about The Office. Well, maybe not, but for a long time. I'm glad that I decided to rewatch it. It only really happens once in a while that I find the time to rewatch a whole series. But that's one that I felt like it was about time, and I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed it. And this one, just briefly, det bästa ur Släng dig i brunnen. The best from... Yeah, let's not translate it. It doesn't matter. It's a... let's see here. This is a stand-up show. This was recorded in Stockholm at a small restaurant where performers, stand-up comedians, they started in 1991, got a chance to show what they got. I mean, they got a chance to prove themselves with the mic up there in front of everyone. Anyway, but a lot of people got their start here. A lot of people who would become popular Swedish comedians, stand-up comedians, and actors in some cases, and various appearances, got their start with this. And it was just a lot of fun to watch this. I think it was 9 hours. I watched most of that, not all of it. Some of them, I wasn't really a big fan of some of them, so I skipped through some of it. But just fun to discover certain comics for the first time, and to see some old material from comics that I know from this century, these past couple of decades. It was fun to see how they got started, and some people convinced me that some people I started liking more through watching this. But anyway, Swedish stand-up, not something that would travel too well internationally, I guess. I mean, stand-up normally doesn't translate anyway. So anyway, it's it was fun. And then 2 movies that I rewatched, and I am so happy I did. And DVD, unfortunately, I will be getting these on Blu-ray, all of these eventually. But for now, I rewatched. Actually, Spirited Away first, and then Princess Mononoke, of course, by Hayao Miyazaki. Did I say that? Well, you all know who he is. I do feel like watching these on Blu-ray would add a whole lot more to the experience, but they're already such amazing movies. I mean, I don't know which one is the best one. I would say that, I'm not really sure what this is about. It's about a girl, and she discovers a fantasy world, and I'm not sure if I interpret this really. This one, however, is easier to interpret. This one has a very good story, very well. I mean, the way all of the different levels in the plot have sort of intertwines with each other, and kind of almost playfully connects with one another in a way. I don't know. I mean, of course, a lot of it is very serious, but it's such a brilliant masterpiece of a movie. I would have to say that this maybe is the better movie, but in terms of animation, I'm probably more impressed with this, and I might even be a little bit more in awe when I watch this, because the world that they've created here is, I mean, they've created two completely, two different kinds of worlds, but nonetheless two equally amazing worlds with some of the best animation you will ever see. Simply, it's just as simple as that. You can't really find much better than this. I mean, and everyone knows that. I mean, these are not obscure movies. I'm just saying. I'm just showing my love for them. They are absolutely great. I don't know which one. If I could only choose one to watch, I mean, I don't know. It's really difficult. Maybe Spirited Away, just because it has that sense of magic. I mean, when she goes down that stairwell, at the side of the building, and she opens the door and she goes into that. I don't know what he was called, but that man who, you know who he is, with the arms. That whole sequence in that room. I mean, the level of imagination is. I mean, anyway. Let's continue with the animation. Actually, quite different animation, but it is Inside Out. This has such a great concept. I don't even know really where to start with this. This has such a great concept that this is nominated for the best screenplay for the Oscars now, which I was happy to see when I watched it live. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones, but I feel like if this wins, then it will make perfect sense. I mean, not just. I mean, it's not even to the point where an animated movie won best screenplay. That's cool. No, it doesn't really matter that it's animated. In this case, it's simply just a fantastic story that it couldn't really be done any other way anyway. I mean, it just, I don't know, you would have to. I don't think it could be done without animation. Not as convincingly or as beautifully anyway. You know what it's about. It's just, I mean, Pete Docter's Up, and for example also Wall-E, just most of the Pixar movies. It's about an adventure, about characters sort of going out there, into the world, having an adventure. This movie is instead, you go into the mind of a little girl, but as you do that, you have this whole world inside of her head, which makes the story able to go out like that. Anyway, I mean, they still, how they're able to have that adventure, I guess metaphorically inside of her head, is very impressive. And of course it's a lot of fun how they have figured out all of these puns, like, I mean, the abstract thought and the train of thought and all of that kind of fun stuff that they just play with those things. Anyway, it's absolutely brilliant. I don't know really what more to say about this. I mentioned before that I was disappointed with the special edition, but let's not focus on that now. This is just, I've only seen it once, but I feel like if I see it a couple more times, I mean, Up, like I said before, also Up is my favorite Pixar movie, and I'm not gonna say that this is better than Up, but because I've only seen this once, and I saw it so recently, so it's hard to say already. But I feel like if I watch it a couple more times, maybe it could be on par with Up. I mean, and Up is really one of my favorite movies, I guess. Period. It just happens to be anyway. Yeah, it's but anyway, yeah. What else can I say? I don't think I need to say anything else. I could, but let's just leave it there. It's yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, what else? Well, I was kinda bored with this, I will say. Kingsman: The Secret Service. I had heard some really good things about this, and it was not it was not a movie that I was that looked like something that I would enjoy. But since I had heard so many good things, I thought that I would pick it up, and it took me a while to get to it as well. I bought this months ago. And I don't know really what they were trying to do. It's some sort of mixture between James Bond and Austin Powers or Johnny English, but it's not really either. It's obviously not a serious spy movie, but it's definitely not a parody movie like Austin Powers or Johnny English. I guess it's closer to Johnny English than Austin Powers, but anyway, it's not really either of them. I'm not even sure if you can say that it's a mixture either. It's it's a semi-serious spy film with a lot of over-the-top humor thrown in, kind of tasteless humor, and it just did not really grab me, and it didn't stylistically. It was nothing special either, and the characters were not great. I really something that really annoyed me that I couldn't get past was Samuel L. Jackson's lisp, which I didn't really see the point with that. It was just distracting and unnecessary. But anyway, I don't know. I was not a fan of this. If you like it, I would very much like to hear why you like it. I just wanna. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Let's see. Well, another great comedy show, because I talked about The Office, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Terrific comedy show. If I'm gonna compare this to The Office, which I don't really need to, but let's just, for the hell of it, I feel like in The Office, obviously the writers are very good, and the writers just happens to be a lot of the actors as well. But anyway, but I feel like the writers they did a great job, obviously, but what the magic really happened on set for The Office. The cast really is what made the show, and of course the cast that is what's gonna make any show almost, especially a comedy show that relies on comedic dialogue. And I'm not saying this cast isn't good, but they just don't have the chemistry that The Office cast does. And again, you don't need to compare these two. I mean, they have nothing to do with each other really. It just felt appropriate. But yeah, they're all great characters. I mean, they're all good characters, fairly strong, comedic characters, and a couple of them have really good chemistry, like Jake Peralta and this guy Joe Truglio. I don't know his character's name, I forget, but they have some really fun dialogue and banter and stuff. A really cool bromance, actually. But despite, Jake Peralta and Andre Brogner's character, there's some good moments there too. But overall, they are good individually, but as an ensemble, it could be a little bit better. And I also feel like when I watched I don't know if it was on this DVD. No, it was on YouTube, I guess. I watched a sort of Q&A, whatever, an interview with the whole cast, and they just did it. There wasn't a lot of chemistry between the actors either. So I don't know if that's why, or if it's just I don't know. I just feel like it's a great show, and I do like that a lot, and I would highly recommend it. It is a great modern comedy show, and I will definitely be picking up season 3 whenever it comes out. I just feel like yeah, well, I guess I said what I need to say, but I do recommend it, of course. Lost in Translation, rewatched. Incredible movie, Sofia Coppola. It's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know how old she was when she made this, but this was in 2003. I don't think she was 30. I mean, maybe. Whatever. I mean, it's impressive. It's a very tranquil, some pretty clever, but just very well acted, very well paced, a very beautiful film about friendship. To me, it's not obvious. It's not really obvious if it's a romantic or a platonic relationship. Towards the end, it makes more sense, but I like that it's there's some sort of fine line between Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. I mean, it could very well just be a platonic, just a friendship between the two. They find each other in Tokyo. They're both kind of lost, and I also love this. There's a scene where Scarlett Johansson is at a, I don't know what you would call it, but a gaming center. I don't know, where a bunch of Japanese people they're playing games. They seem to be really into it, and Scarlett Johansson's character, she's sort of studying them, and there's this sense of fascination of a different culture that she feels, but that the viewer also feels, which is just, that is pulled off really well. How they find themselves in Tokyo, and the viewer also does in a very wonderful way. It's filmed really nicely on the streets of Tokyo and in the hotel. Very well put together movie. It's just, I mean, it's an incredibly easy movie to watch, but it is a piece of art. I think it's yeah, obviously, I mean, most people have seen this. Very recognizable cover and title and everything, but if you haven't, it's not a challenging movie to watch, but it's a very wonderful movie. All right, that's it. I think I will. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. I think I'm just gonna do a second part right now, actually. But yeah, thank you for watching.